Hello everyone. So recently, when PLEA team came to us for a RERA session, me and my team internally were discussing on what topic we should be taking the session and what all things we should be discussing about Maha RERA in this session. So we came up with an idea that we should be discussing about Maha RERA notices in its impact and suitable responses. Why this topic? Because recently, what is happening is promoters taking the registration. They know that registration is required in Maha RERA, but they are not aware about what all are compliances, what are the reasons Maha RERA is issuing the notices, and what will be the impact of the same. So we came up with this topic. I have kept this topic very short and PPT as a very short because I wanted to discuss all the compliances and give you an overview. So recently, all of you must have heard the news or read it in the newspaper that 70% of the new projects got notices from the Maha RERA on, and 538 or 563 projects got cancellation notices from Maha RERA. 2000 promoters got the notices from Maha RERA for non-updation of the projects. Some of the project got suspension of their registration, and this has been done by Maha RERA. So also recently, one of my client got notice that why his project should not be considered as lapse as he has not updated any of the project information. One of my client got scrutiny notice which has been system generated notice. So to give you an idea about what all are the reasons for issuing these notices. Basic objective of Maha RERA is to safeguard the home buyers, give them an information which they need for buying an home at on their fingertips. So basically, any of the project gets registered under Maha RERA, they just update the promoter needs to update the information on Maha RERA portal. So what happens is this information is available on under a public domain. So any of the home buyers who are looking for the options to buy the home, they can search the project and look for the information. What is the completion date and all? How many of the units got sold? So one of the reason is that Maha RERA wants to safeguard the home buyers. They don't want home buyers to get scammed. Another major reason is that non-updation of the projects by promoters. So what happens is when you get your project registered or when any of the promoter gets their project registered, what they need to do is basically they need to update some or the other information so that their project is updated. What is that information? We will talk about it later. But Maha RERA wants to bring a transparency and efficiency in the real estate sector. These are the basic reasons why Maha RERA has started issuing the notices. So, just to give you a brief about the statistics, recently what has means if you can see the statistics, then it's like many of the promoters has applied for the registration. Around 45,000 applications have been received by Maha RERA, out of which they got 43,000 projects registered with Maha RERA, and around 23,000 project got complained from home buyers or any of the authorities have issued the notices to the promoter for non-updation of project or other reasons. So out of this 23,000 notices against the promoter, 15,000 orders has been passed. So if you see the numbers, it's normal. It's a huge number, like it's 35 to 36%. That is 15,000 out of 43,000 registered project. By these numbers, you know it now that Maha RERA has become very active. So just to know what will be the impact of notices. If Maha RERA has issued a system generated scrutiny notice stating that the promoter has not updated the project and he needs to update the same. If promoter doesn't do it within a timeline given by Maha RERA, then penalty shall be imposed. Fines needs to be paid by promoters. Another thing is Maha RERA gives some services to the promoter, like they can download QR code from the Maha RERA portal. They can download their registration portal. These services won't be available to the promoters who has not updated their projects. Other than that, another thing is while buying home nowadays, home buyers has got to know that Maha RERA has got everything under their control, and now promoters are updating the projects. They first check it on Maha RERA portal whether the project is updated, whether there are any complaints filed against them, or any of the orders has been issued by the Maha RERA authorities. So basically, if there is any order issued by the Maha RERA authorities against that project, then it will be available in public domain. It will have a negative impact on a home buyer. He will be having a second thought whether these projects, whether he can buy these units or he don't want to. Then this will having a negative impact on the sales of that project. So basically, Maha RERA has recently become very active, and one of the major reasons for issuing the notices by Maha RERA is non-updation of the projects. Earlier, this was not the case. Maha RERA was not issuing many notices. Just because Maha RERA did not have things online, now they have completely got it online, and now they have started issuing a system generated notices, scrutiny notices, and they are taking hearings also online. So if any of the clients comes to you stating that he has received the notice from Maha RERA, and initially to advise him as a consultant, we should be aware that what are the basic compliances under Maha RERA, so that we will be guiding our client on the right path, and we will be able to respond to the notices immediately or within a given time frame. So in July 2021, Maha RERA came up with a detailed list of the updates needs to be done on Maha RERA portal. Basically, they have simply divided this updates in two or three types, that is quarterly updates, annual updates, and other updates. Basically, quarterly updates includes many items such as number of sold inventory and unsold inventory. Promoter needs to update it every quarterly, or whenever he sells the units, he needs to update it on Maha RERA portal. In case at the time of registration, if sanction plan had some different number of sanction plan was different, and now the sanction approval has been received for another building or additional units, then same needs to be updated on Maha RERA portal. Other than that, promoter also needs to update project professional details, such as project professionals will include chartered accountants, engineers, and a project architect. He needs to update all of this information on online portal, Maha RERA portal. Other than that, in quarterly updates, major three forms are included, which are very important from promoter's point of view also, because these forms are required for the by the promoter for withdrawing the funds from designated RERA account. These are three forms, that is Form 1, Form 2, and Form 3. Basically, Form 1 is issued by the architect, project architect. In Form 1, there are two tables, Table A and Table B. Table A will be giving an percentage completion information of the building, that is buildings involved in the project. If, for example, there are three buildings in the project, table will A will include percentage completion of work regarding those buildings, such as electrical fittings within the flats, excavations, plinths, etc. So, and another table, that is table B, which will be including the external development work information. For example, if builder is planning to build or construct three buildings, then he will be forming an society. There will be footpaths, roads inside the societies. So the information regarding construction of these roads and external development, water supplies, electricity on the roads will be included in table B. So this was about Form 1. Form 2 is basically engineer certificate. Engineer states that what is the actual cost of the construction included right now, has been incurred by the promoter till date. So Form 2 does not give you an like a percentage completion. It gives a percentage completion, but it will be on an estimated cost basis. It will just state that this is the actual amount of the construction cost incurred till date. In Form 3, there are several tables, and Form 3 is also one of the important forms under Maha RERA, because Form 3 is issued by the project chartered accountant. It involves certain tables. One of the table is that what will be the estimate cost of concluding entire project. That is the cost from the buying the land, TDRs, or if it is a redevelopment project, then what is the amount of the rent, what is the estimated amount of the rent promoter is willing to pay to the tenants, existing tenants whose land is getting redeveloped. This will be included in estimated cost. On the basis of the same, what is the cost promoter has incurred till date for the said expenses, like for land, for TDR, for stamp duty and rent, etc., and for construction. On by considering this cost, actual cost as compared with the estimated cost, percentage completion will be decided. On this percentage completion, promoter will be giving this form to the bank, and then bank will need this form for withdrawing any funds from the designated bank account. So promoter needs to submit this to the bank also. Another important table from form 3 is details of sold inventory and unsold inventory. If units are sold, then promoter now in form 3, promoter as in chartered accountant needs to certify that how many units are sold. Out of that agreement, if agreement is done, then the what is the agreement value plus what is the amount received till there, and balance amount will be receivable from the sold units. And in case of unsold units, they need to specify the ready reckoner rates for those units. So basically form 3 involves various tables, but majorly uh, three of these forms, that is form 1 to 3 issued by the project professionals, gives an idea about physical and financial progress of the project, the promoters and to the authorities also. So these forms needs to be uploaded quarterly, and whenever they are submitted to bank, in case in between of the quarters they are submitted to bank, then to promoter can upload it online. So basically for quarterly updates, due date is 20th of the next month from the end of quarter. For example, we can say for April to June, due date will be 20th July. This was all about quarterly updates. Another thing is moving on annual updates. So basically, Maha RERA came up with two forms stating that these forms needs to be updated online by the promoter. One of the form is Form 2A, which is a certificate issued by engineer stating the quality of the construction is as per standard quality required. Form 2 is basically quality assurance certificate which will be issued by the engineer, which needs to be updated annually. Form 5 Form 5 is basically report on statements of accounts of the promoters. It you can say it can be considered as a audit under the RERA, like other statutory audits, etc. we do under other acts. And specifically, this form needs to be signed by the statutory auditor of the promoter. It cannot be signed by the project engineer, a project chartered accountant who is regularly certifying the Form 3s. This form specifically gives the information about how much is the amount deposited in the designated bank account, how much is the amount withdrawn, and what is the closing balance. And if Form 3s are issued within a year, then whether those were correct or not. These are all the required compliances under Maha RERA, quarterly updates and annual updates. They have mentioned in specific order. They have mentioned the due dates and all. So after that, while registering the project, promoter needs to give a specific deadline for the completion of the project. Like he can say, I will be completing this project in 5 years. On the basis of that, registration certificate will be issued. But after the end of the 5 years, either project there will be two scenarios. Either project will be completed, as in construction will be completed. He must have received the occupancy certificate, or another thing will be project must not have been completed. So in case the project is completed, then promoter has to upload certain certificates to intimate it to the Maha RERA that project has been completed. So basically, first important thing he needs to update is occupancy certificate. Another thing, he needs to get form 4 from the architecture, which will be stating that it is a project has been completed. So basically, Form 4 is the certificate for the completion of the project, which will be issued by the architect by stating OC number, etc. And this needs to be updated on Maha RERA portal. Other than that, conveyance deed entered with the allottees needs to be updated on Maha RERA portal. After uploading these three documents, Maha RERA will verify the documents, and then they will be sending a email to the promoter stating that his Form 4 has been accepted or not. This means this entire process is called a project closure. In case your project is completed within a timeline, then means promoter needs to upload these documents on the Maha RERA portal. But by any chance, say in second scenario, if construction has not been completed, so what needs to be done by the promoter? Ideally, promoter needs to file an extension with Maha RERA authorities. By reviewing the reasons for the extension, Maha RERA will give promoter a certain period extension, but Maha RERA can give only 1 year's extension to the promoter. So basically, if project is not completed, then promoter will get only 1 year extra extended by the Maha RERA authorities, and he needs to complete the project in that period itself. Other than that, if any of the promoter feels that address mentioned in the registration is not correct, by any chance there has been a typographical mistake or any details needs to be changed, Maha RERA has given an option to update the information, and there is also one application called as correction application. If any of the details filed with Maha RERA are not if promoter is not able to update it directly to the portal, then he needs to file an correction application for that. And majority of the fields mentioned in the correction applications are very important. And so basically he needs to file an application, then Maha RERA authorities will again review the application, then only they will accept the application and make the changes according. So this was all about it's just an overview of all the compliances required by Maha RERA. If we go in detail, every form shall require another session. So this was just an overview. As a lawyers, as a consultant, what we should be aware of, whether promoter has done it or not. We should be aware of this before answering to the any of the notices received from the authorities. So just to conclude with, if any of the promoters receives the Maha RERA notices, first we need to check whether he has done all the compliances, whether he has updated his project on a timely basis, whether he has updated it up to date, like till date, what are the updates, and whether he has updated the same or not. In case while some or the other time it happens that a site is not working or any of the updates are not, they are not able to update it, then promoter needs to intimate it to the Maha RERA immediately. Because what happens is now Maha RERA has become very active and they have got everything online. So they have started issuing system generated notice as we discussed earlier. So in system generated notice, what is happening if the prescribed time period, for example, let's say is 10 days. If updation date, if after the updation date, you don't update anything after the 10 days also, then promoter will be getting a notice for that project. So to avoid getting those notices, you just need to intimate it to the Maha RERA authorities just before that you are not you are facing any technical issues. Then you just need to email them or raise a grievance. So just to conclude with, all compliances stated by the Maha RERA are just divided into three types, that is quarterly updates, quarterly updates, annual updates, and other updates. Quarterly updates majorly involves three forms, that is form 1 to 3, and other updates such as sanction plan, it changed their sold inventory, unsold inventory details, if cover parking is sold or not, if garages are sold or not. Then annual updates includes Form 5 and Form 2A, which are basically quality assurance certificate and RERA audit, you can say. And third one, other updates are regarding when project has been completed or the registration period has ended, then what needs to be done by the promoter. In these cases, in case of project closure, I wanted to specifically include it in conclusion. If any of the project is completed and then too, if no documents has been uploaded by the promoter, then he'll be specifically getting notices regarding why his project should not be considered as lapse, or his project he will be getting a scrutiny notices stating that non-compliance has been done. So to answer all these queries, we should be aware that Form 4 needs to be uploaded, OC needs to be uploaded, and conveyance deed entered with the allottees needs to be uploaded on the portal. So regarding notices and its responses, this is from my side, guys. If you have any queries, you can go ahead with asking the queries. So one of the participant is asking whether Maha RERA monitors the quality of the construction. Maha RERA does not monitor the quality of the construction. Basically, what Maha RERA is doing currently, they are relying on the any of the documents uploaded by the promoter. And Maha RERA in specific compliances, I told you, annual one certificate needs to be uploaded on portal, that is Form 2A, quality assurance certificate. So basically Maha RERA literally relies on that document. It does not monitor it separate. It monitors it separately. Another question is, when can promoter apply for extending the registration of this project and what grounds? See, if while getting project registered, promoter has given a specific time that we will be completing project in 5 years or 6 years. Say if those 6 years are completed, and project is not yet construction is not yet completed, then promoter can directly apply for the registration on the basis of that. Reasons can be anything. It's just that Maha RERA authorities will verify your application, and then they will be asking for any additional documents they required for just giving you an extension. Next question is, in RERA, if promoter goes bankrupt, what will be the next action? So simply speaking, uh, home buyers, that is allottees of the project, are considered as the financial creditors under IBC. I don't know whether all of you are aware about this or not, but those allottees are considered as the financial creditors under IBC, and IBC has given a very list of application which can be made under the IBC by the allottees. And if even if allottees has not filed the application with IBC, or any other person has filed the application with the IBC, then allottees will be included in those creditors committee. So I don't think so there will be any issue with the IBC, because anyways application can be filed by allottees as they are financial creditors. Next question is, if the business is going for the if the building is going for the redevelopment, how should you calculate the area of under the RERA or the MOFA? Basically, for this question, I shall need more details like what is the area included, and other parameters are also included over here. So this can be done only if I have entire details. So you can just get in touch with me after this session. So next, one of the participant has asked the question that, is tenant whose building is being redeveloped also covered under the RERA, and complaint about anomalies to the RERA authorities? Yes, the whose building will is getting redeveloped, that person, existing tenants will be also can also file the application with the RERA authorities for the complaint. It's just that if the project involves only the redevelopment, there is no new sale, then project won't be registered. So those queries won't be entertained. But if your project is registered under RERA, then definitely any of the allottees can file the complaint with the Maha RERA authorities. Next question is RERA website updated as per the progress of project, or does it verify independently? So basically, as per the project progress of the project, yes, promoters needs to update the details on the Maha RERA website online. So basically, project will be updated as per the progress of project, but those are not verified independently by the Maha RERA. Maha RERA relies on the information updated by the promoter. And basically, the information updated by the promoter should be in sync with the Form 123, which have been issued by the project professionals. One of the participants has asked the question that RERA does not punish the builder like a code does for any violation. Basically, under RERA authorities has been given a power to charge penalties, fines to the promoter, and also punishment can involve the imprisonment. So if promoter has done any violation, then these three options are available with the RERA authorities. So thank you everyone. This
Thank you so much, ma'am.